video one. right, welcome back to the second half of this matchup between NPC and Touch Kings. Should be an exciting second half. Much on the line for both teams. Well, mainly for Touch Kings. Touch Kings is fighting for playoff spots. NPC, obviously 3 games left to go, and this being one of the 3. It's really just about lessons learned and takeaways they could have from this matchup. Currently in the other stream, Baltimore City versus Etihad. Right as we went into half, Etihad was leading 1-0. So good for Slancha, great for Etihad, worrisome for Touch Kings. And we are underway as Touch Kings gets us started in the second half of this Super Soccer League Maryland Division 2. Touch Kings is going to start off playing with possession, keeping composure, not rushing, making sure that they don't put themselves under unnecessary pressure. And now it's going to come out. It's offsides for Touch Kings. Now it's going to be restarted for NPC. Currently it's still a 1-0 lead for Etihad over in Milford Mill. While here in Hammond High School, we have an all-squared affair, 1-1. With much action yet to do and to live. Great attempt there. Only to find a Touch Kings player. There's a through ball there. Only to find a keeper. Now NPC comes out playing. This for the second half. NPC in the red will be going from right to left, and Touch Kings in the blue will be going from left to right. Out for a throw in. Quickly taken. Another throw in here for NPC, or sorry, for Touch Kings. Here comes Touch Kings, plays it out to the middle. Taken out in a very dangerous scenario right there. This is a great opportunity for Touch Kings just outside the box. You can imagine it's gonna be a direct shot. I can't see this going any other way than NPC going straight for glory. Or sorry, Touch Kings going for straight for glory. There's 2 players on there. Captain, number 10. Is the one with the shot and just hits it way wide. Way over. I did hear she screams from his teammate saying, hell no. Excuse my language, but I just had to laugh. Still plenty of action this Sunday. We have 2 more Super Soccer League matches up in Milford. After these 1 o'clock games, we will have a 3 o'clock game between oh my word, I'm losing my mind. MSI and Peru United, and then followed up with Steel Pulse. I'll hold that thought because the NPC is in trouble. I thought that was going to be a turnover. As I was saying, Steel Pulse versus A3. Baltimore Kickers taking a bye week. Big switch here for NPC. NPC has possession. It's still NPC. NPC finds his out wide. Takes it in, just slips. We mentioned the rain. There's evidence right there of it. Other matchups happening in the channel. There's Arlington versus Blazers in the UPSL DMV South A Conference. You also have the APL semifinals between Aegean Hawks and World Class Premier. So a top matchup right there. And the big matchup of the day, Ristosi versus District Elite in the MPSL. That's a matchup worth highlighting. Must-see appointment television. Here's the sends in. Well defended. NPC had a second opportunity but didn't take advantage of it. Now it's Touch Kings. Touch Kings on the counter. Cuts back. Gets the ball hit but goes in the favor of Touch Kings. Big throw in here. Looking to go direct, but the Touch Kings players defend well. Now it's NPC. NPC forced to play out of the back. Oh, NPC gets away with one there. Almost turning it over in a very dangerous scenario. And it's Touch Kings who are now on the defense. Referee says he's on. Flag stays down. Goalie scoops it up. Great decision from the keeper. Now we have Touch Kings coming out playing. Big boot down the sideline, but not able to keep possession. Here's a throw in. NPC opts to go long. Touch Kings opts to go long, but NPC wins the possession, but quickly turns it over. But it hit off of a Touch Kings player, so now it's a throw in for the NPC side. Does well to play around the pressure, but there was no communication letting him know that there was a man on. Keeper forced to make a very unorthodox save from that attempt from way deep. Almost had a highlight reel right there. Looks like the keeper took a little knock when he was forced to make that save. Just checking in over at the Baltimore Etihad game. It is currently 1-0 for Etihad still in the 62nd minute. They're about 10 minutes ahead of us. We're going to keep an eye out on that result. Played on the floor. Missed a few players, missed the opportunity, and Touch King still still the one supplying pressure, but NPC's keeper comes out and collects, and now referee's going to check the player who got hit in the face and make sure that he's okay. It's going to be a substitution, I believe. Keep Goalkeeper check. Referee checked that the player is okay, and he was, so play on. And big pressure coming from Touch Kings, forced to go down the line. Touch Kings now having to play out from under pressure. Nice little flick on there. Now we enter the lull where the energies of the second half start to fade and teams start to try to mastermind a plan on how to get ahead. We see Touch Kings trying to play a little bit of hero ball. They need to play. They're so good at possession. They need to really utilize that. That's what led them to success early on in the season. You want to see it implemented here again. Just looking for the ball movement. Goes out of play. Teammates not exactly happy with the decision. So NPC is going to take advantage and quickly take this throw in. Or we're going to do it, but didn't like his options. Quickly taken, but referee calls it back as substitutions were being made. It works out for NPC, although he doesn't get the touch he wanted. It's still NPC, plays a through ball, but not against that center back. He's been such a fixture in that Touch Kings back line. Nutmeg and found his teammate. Big boot down the field. Keeps it in play somehow. That was an impressive acrobatic save. It switches hands and goes for NPC, and NPC just sends it down the field. Big boot down the field. Now the conditions are getting questionable here for the players. Good ball, but just a little too much. The idea was right. Just couldn't get the distance and power correct. Now it's Touch Kings coming out playing. Touch Kings loops it over. Switch over to NPC, and now it's NPC who's on the front foot, looking to play back and forth. Referee sees a foul, doesn't like it, gives it at the top of the, at the about 30 yards out from goal. Etihad, update on the other game, Etihad still leading 1-0 as they enter the 66th minute. Here on the other foot, we have a 1-1 draw as we enter the 58th minute. Here's the service, opts to go direct. Why not? It's rainy. Goalie tried to keep it in, but it went out for a corner. You got to try those in these conditions. Anything could happen. It could slip out of the keeper's hand. It could take an odd bounce off of his hand, hit the back of the net. These are the conditions you want to take those shots on, especially as it's been raining since the kickoff, and it's only gotten worse. Service sends it way too high up. And Now goes out for a goal kick. Taking close as we enter the 59th minute. A little over half an hour left in this game. Great block right there. A beautiful move. Not able to keep it off of his teammate's foot, and now it's back with Touch Kings. Touch Kings able to go all the way back to their keeper. Playing it close here. Foul in the favor of NPC. Question marks there. But it was right in front of the referee. He got a better angle than most. Played quickly. Now it's going to be out for a throw-in. Weren't able to get there. Yes, people, is really coming down now, people. So if you're home and cozy watching this, we appreciate you. We're just glad we're able to bring you this coverage. This is DMV Sports Media. Do make sure you hit that subscribe, like, comment. I have not been able to check the chat, but usually these games, not too lively. You got to change that, people. Looking to you watching. Touch Kings here. Now on the front foot, plays it out wide, forced to cut back, plays it off to his teammate. Lovely little heel from his teammate. Just couldn't keep up with the speed. Grip gave way and he slipped. Again, this is the conditions we're playing in, and this is what's going to happen. Big switch here. Opts to go all the way to his keeper. Keeper sends it back up the field. And it's NPC who wins it, but Touch Kings wins the second touch. Now it's Touch Kings on the front foot. Cuts back, halts the play, sends it out wide. Referee says he's offsides. Referee says, hold on. Wait for my whistle, please. NPC now. Great move. Beautiful move to keep possession. Plays a through ball, but it goes out for a throw-in. Throw in from NPC. Blocked by Touch Kings. Referee says it's a foul on the play in favor of Touch Kings. It's taken, restarted by Touch Kings. update in Baltimore City versus Etihad in the 72nd minute, the end of the 72nd minute. It is an all-squared affair, 1-1 for the Etihad and Baltimore City. Very much the same here as we enter the 64th minute. Or sorry, we enter the 65th minute. NPC getting the better of the possession. Touch Kings being kept in their half, though Touch Kings have been the more dangerous of the two in this half, have had the better opportunities, at least in the last 10 minutes. There's a foul right there. A yellow card for number 25 on Touch Kings. Sorry, 75. I thought it said it. 25, 75. This is what we don't want, is the wind as it picks up here in Hammond High School. Big boot down the field to their goalie. NPC forced to restart. Through ball, finds his teammate, surrounded by some Touch Kings player, but does well to keep possession. Opts to play it out wide. Beautifully done. Here comes NPC. There's the through ball. He's on. Goldie comes out. Defense does well to knock it out, and it's now going to be a NPC throw in. Windy. Let's make sure this wind goes away, because it will get very shaky soon for both sides. Referee blows the restart. Here's a throw in, doesn't get too far. Another throw in. Here's the service. NPC still has possession. Now it's turned over. It's Touch Kings on the counter. NPC defends well, but referee says that's a yellow card for NPC. Substitution for Touch Kings. It's tied 0-0. No one has had too much of a clear opportunity. Touch Kings restarts, couldn't keep the possession. Now it's going to be back with Touch Kings. Exchange hands, and this is a deadly situation right here. Can they do something? Cuts back, tries to find a teammate, opts to go for it, and gets the second goal. Does it all himself, aside from that beautiful pass. Let's watch that replay. That service was beautiful. Cuts back, fakes to go, and it has the shot, and that's number 2 for Touch Kings. A great moment for Touch Kings. It's huge because that has big standings implications. Looks like it was number 11 for Touch Kings who made that. Again, no rosters, people. So I'm not sure who to credit that to, but we'll find out. Let me check the chat as well. Maybe the chat is supporting. NPC now forced to try to make something of this. They were just sitting on a all-level score. We're seeing them both split points, and now it's all going the way of Touch Kings. We'll opt to go all the way back to their goalie. Oh, actually, there's no commentator. Is there? You guys can hear me, right? Let me see. No commentator can't hear anything. Not every game has commentary. Should still work. There's no commentary. Probably a technical issue. Let's see. Let me see. Oh, yeah. I hear myself. So are you talking about the other game there's no commentator? There's no commentator in the other game, if that's what you're asking. In the Baltimore City game. Here there's a commentator. I'm Gio. And this is DMV Sports Media. Not all Super Soccer League games have commentators, unfortunately, but all UPSL, MPSL, USL, WPSL games have commentators. Just for future references. And we try to make sure all the Division I games have commentary, but sometimes if they're at Milford, they won't have commentary. But this is just a little bit of information. Offsides there. Foul was actually back here, not where I previously thought. Touch Kings is going to look to end this game 2-1 because playoffs are on the line. And as we mentioned earlier on, there's only 2 games outside of this one where they can make up ground, and the previous form or the recent form hasn't been of greatest of late. The result before this one was 11-1 loss they had against Etihad, who currently are tied 1-1 with Baltimore City in the other game. So it's definitely a very important match for Touch Kings as they look to find their form again. Obviously, being knocked out of playoff contentions in the UPSL, all their efforts can be concentrated here to earn a spot into the playoffs, which, reminder here, teams in slots 2, 3, 4, and 5 go into the playoffs, and winner of the playoffs gets promoted into Division 1. Team in the first position, the first seed, automatically earns promotion into Division 1, and team in the last place in Division 1 gets relegated into Division 2. So there's still a lot to play on for these playoff contention teams. Touch Kings, with this result, will remain in playoff contention. Baltimore City, who was hoping to leapfrog Slancha, will not if Etihad holds them 1-1. Touch Kings tried to save it, but now it's going to be a corner for NPC. NPC, this is a good opportunity to level the score yet again. as we enter the 74th minute. Here comes the service. Almost finds the equalizer. NPC on the frisk. 2 golden opportunities, couldn't put them in the back of the net, and Touch Kings get away with one. That was very unfortunate for NPC, who was right there. Now it's going to be a substitution for Touch Kings. And as NPC loses a golden opportunity, Baltimore City takes the lead in the other game. It was a 2-0 or 2-1 lead. If result holds, we'll be looking at a new league leader in Division 2, obviously with the caveat that Slancha has a game in hand. But either way, it's a big deal for Baltimore City and the Super Soccer League Division 2 or Maryland Division 2. NPC doing work. NPC has a lot of good players. They just can't put it together. There's the cross. Goes out for a corner. Another opportunity for NPC. Here comes the service. Played into the box. Couldn't find it. Almost had the equalizer, but hits the outside of the post and goes out for a goal kick restart. It was NPC who's knocking at the door now as we get into the last 15 minutes of this match. Touch Kings with the restart. Touch Kings comfortable back there. This game, it has led them to get into trouble, so if I'm the coach, I'm asking them to be a little bit quicker. NPC is full of youth academy players and sub-18 players. As we mentioned, this team is that team that's focused on player development, and we've seen a lot of that today, where players are comfortable on taking on the ones-on-ones, reading the game, playing under pressure. It's just a half second too slow sometimes, and their opportunities kind of dissipate like that right there, where the movement was great, but then the execution of that pass was not crisp enough, and Touch Kings were able to win the possession. The same could be said about Touch Kings, but here's the second. Referee says he's offside, and that through ball was a very dangerous one. Put the Touch King forward in a very dangerous position, and just the run was a little bit a half step too soon. A half true step into offsides. Touch King, or sorry, NPC to restart. Big boot down the field. As we enter the last 12 minutes of regular time, I can't foresee too much stoppage time being added, if any. It's a great through ball, but it's defended even better. Coach from Touch Kings talking about his team. Too big of gaps in the midfield, and NPC hears that they could take advantage of it, but miscommunication there. It turns over. Now the boys in blue. Lovely little pass right there. Referee says it's a foul. It's in favor of Touch Kings. Update in the other side with just under 3 minutes left in regular time for the Baltimore City Etihad game. Baltimore City leads 3-1. Here it's Touch Kings who lead 1-0. Or sorry, 2-1. It's not for the lack of opportunities for NPC. It's more so the lack of finishing. As we enter the last 9 minutes of this second half. Big boot down the field. Almost had an opportunity. That was lovely. Referee says that's offsides. But the attempt, the audacity, the courage, that's something to admire. Caught that ball on a half volley. Beautiful attempt. Just the run was a little too early. Now it's Touchkins again who are on the front foot. Beautiful tackle. Referee says it's a throw in for the boys in blue. Clearance for NPC. There's a shot collected by the goalie. It's going to be restarted by the goalie. Sent down the field. Hit and cut off by NPC. Substitutions for Touch Kings. It's going to be a throw in back here for NPC. Sent down the field. Just overplayed. It's going to be a throw in here. It's going to be Touch Kings who restart it. It's still going to be Touch Kings. Sent down the field. Touch Kings still with possession. Touch Kings still with possession. It's going to be a throw in here. Thrown in, taken. Sent in. We enter the last 6 minutes of the regular time. Baltimore City versus Etihad comes to an end. A 3-1 win for Baltimore City. So Baltimore City leapfrogs Etihad, sorry, not Etihad, Slancha for the first place. Results will reflect that later on today. Obviously, the caveat, the big caveat, Slancha has a game in hand. Sorry about that, folks. We're back. Just had to go on mute for a second. Big switch here. Touch Kings are just trying to eat away at the clock now to save time. NPC is going to look to want to end this on a high note. A tie is just as good as a win for them at this point, because 2 goals in a very tightly contested game is a big ask. Ball hit out of bounds. Referee whistles it off. It's going to be actually all the way back here. Referee allows them to take it back here as they make substitutions. Throw in for Touch Kings. A through ball, just a miscommunication. It could have been a very good play for Touch Kings, but it doesn't pan out. Now it's going to be NPC who restarts. It's going to be NPC who comes down. At this point, not much could happen unless the referee adds a lot of stoppage time. Big boot down the field. Keeper comes out and collects. Big boot here. Opts to go. I thought it was going to be a boot, but opts to go playing it close, and it's going to be players asking for a substitution. Here comes a throw in for Touch Kings. Could be watching the final minutes of this game. What a defensive interference right there, just picking his pockets. And now it's going to be sent all the way here, back with Touch Kings. Great read. And there's a shot on, and keeper's wake to it. Sends it down the field. Lets it bounce, and we enter the last 2 minutes of the match, or regular time, I should say. Again, not too many fouls, not too much time wasting, so I don't see the referee adding too much time. Ball sent down the field. I do believe if NPC gets a goal, we might be seeing 4 minutes of stoppage time. If not, I doubt it. Great save from the keeper. It's been Touch Kings who's been the more dangerous of the two sides in the last 10 minutes. The complete opposite of what we saw early on in the second half. And it's also Touch Kings who's the one that put away their opportunities. Referee says it's a foul here at the 50. Here comes the service. Looking for a striker. Only finds a defender. There's time and space. He has a shot. And there's goal number 3. Oh, my word. What a golazo. From the about 30 yards out. Just absolutely puts a banger in the back of the net. Defender sends it back out and has just caught it. And that's why you try those under these conditions. Goalie had a few fingers on it, but due to the conditions, it just slips past his fingers, and that's why you do it. And now we have a 3-1, so definitely barely any stoppage time to be added. Referee blows. We hit the 90-minute mark. Referee's going to allow this to play on. Maybe a minute or two to be added, but not too much more. Referee says play on, not enough, not buying, sends in the cross. Player all by himself, keeper reads it well. Referee still allowing it to play. Still NPC. Where was this energy early on? Now you're down 2. It's a very tough task. Tries to flick on his teammate. Isn't able to, but does keep possession. Plays a through ball. Lovely through ball, but the keeper comes on. And that's full time. Touch Kings find themselves in a 3-1 victory after some nervy moments throughout the game, but Touch Kings ends up doing what they needed to and taking care of business, keeping their playoff contention spot. This is Gio, and this is DMV Sports Media. Do make sure you hit that subscribe button, like, comment, as we have currently kicking off MSI Pro versus Peru United in Milford Mills, and a bunch of other games kicking off later on. But as for Hammond High School, we sign off. Have a great day, everyone.